Hey guys, and welcome back to my weekly reading vlog where every time I finish a book, I hop on the camera and give you my thoughts and feelings about it and then let you know what I'm going to be reading next. And I have finished Magic Breaks by Ilona Andrews, the seventh book in the Kate Daniels series. So the Kate Daniels series is an adult urban fantasy series that follows our main character of Kate Daniels. And so generally at the beginning of the series, Kate is a mercenary and then she's a liaison between the mercenary and like various other magical factions. And now she runs her own magical hazmat kind of cleanup type business. But she lives in an alternate version of Atlanta, Georgia, where magic comes in waves. And when it does, nothing that is technology based works. But there's lots of magic and cool stuff you can do. But then magic leaves, and now you can't do any magic, but all the technology works again. Very interesting world building in this series. But in this particular book, there is a conclave between the various magical factions of the city, and a master of the dead is killed, and it's very clear that it was done by a shapeshifter. And so now Kate has 24 hours to figure out who done it and present them, like capture them. And this was a really, really good book. So the author's note at the beginning says that this is a resting point for the overarching like plot line, and I very much feel that that is true. At the end of this book, like you could legitimately stop this series and feel satisfied. There's still a few unanswered questions, and you can tell that like the story could continue, but you don't have to, and that's really cool. I really like that. But there's still 3 more books, and I'm really excited to get into those. Um, but in any case, I do love Kate as a character. I think she is great. Um, I liked the various interactions. I loved the return of Kate's nemesis because, okay, so the plot line, that is the plot line of the book, that what I told you, but that's like the plot line removing all the spoilery stuff. So, like things that would spoil previous books, right? And so it's a lot more than that. And it was very, very interesting. And like I said, the world building is phenomenal. It's still really great. I love it. And overall, I very much just enjoyed this book. So next, I am going to pick up The Good Luck Girls by Charlotte Nicole Davis. So in this book, we are following, it's a young adult fantasy dystopian kind of esque book, but it's following our main character of Aster, and Aster works in a good luck house as a good luck girl. And I'm saying that like that because it is a euphemism. And so basically, it's a brothel, and Aster is not there by choice. She was sold to the brothel as a younger child, and then she worked as a servant until she was old enough to be auctioned, have her virginity auctioned off. And now she's just one of the working girls and expected to entertain gentlemen every night until the day she turns 40 and she gets kicked out. Yeah, so her younger sister also happens to be at this house, Clementine, and Clementine is having her lucky night, aka her 16th birthday, and she kills the dude that won her virginity auction, and so now they have to make their escape. And then obviously, it's not just escaping from this house, it's also trying to like evade anybody who is trying to capture them. So I am now 60 pages into this, and it's really interesting. I did have a hard time with the first couple of chapters because basically there's something that's the equivalent of slavery in this, and obviously none of the girls there have a choice. They're actually branded, so even if they were to get, like, they can't leave, and even if they were going to leave, everybody would know that they were supposed to be in this good luck house, and they would get sent back. Like, it's one of those things where they don't really have a choice, and that really was hard for me to deal with in those first couple chapters. But now, at page 60, they have just made their escape from the house, and now they are going on the run. And I'm very excited because we actually have 5 different girls that are on this journey together, and I am excited to see them kind of come together to, like, you know, go on this journey, wherever they're going to end up going, they have to go somewhere where they can be free, essentially. So on this journey, I'm very excited to watch them. And so, yeah, I think I've gotten through the parts that I'm going to have the hardest time with. And so now I'm just very excited to really get into this book. But that is it, you guys. So until next time, bye. Hey guys, it is Tuesday night and I have an update for you. I finished The Good Luck Girls by Charlotte Nicole Davis. Now I finished this like 15 minutes ago, so my thoughts are a little scattered. But I also have very conflicted feelings about this. Mostly because it just wasn't what I expected, and I'm a little bit disappointed that it wasn't what I expected, but that doesn't necessarily make it bad, right? Okay, so here's the thing. Like I said in the last clip, they escaped their welcome house and they were on the run, going on a journey to try to get away and find safety so they wouldn't have to be on the run the whole time, right? And so I knew that most of this book was going to be that journey, and I was totally here for it. And I was thinking, oh, we're going to have these 5 girls watching each other's back. We're going to see them grow closer and really form these tight bonds, and it's going to be very, very character driven. And I was very, very wrong about that. And so it's not so much character driven. I thought it was going to be more focused on the group as a whole, and it's not really. It's much more focused on Aster and her growth and her development, and really her finding herself and who she is now after having been a working girl for a year, and how does she live in the world and all that kind of stuff, which I do think is a very, very valuable story. It's also about, finding people who are fighting back against an extremely oppressive system and fighting back against the people that are keeping you oppressed. And so those are all really, really good things. It's just not what I was expecting. And so, and here's the thing, that kind of a story is good, but I will very rarely like that as much as a good journey story where it's really character driven. And so that was disappointing to me, but it's such a personal thing. But I mean, just generally this book I had kind of mixed feelings. So I liked Aster as a character, how she was written was very believable. I did not necessarily like her as a person, but she was very believable, and I liked following her as a character. I also liked one of the other group members, Violet, who is just prickly and I just adored her so much. But the other characters, I didn't really feel like I knew them very well. They weren't really well developed, and they were just kind of there to kind of make this all work. They needed a certain number of people, and so there they are. I liked following them on their journey. I liked the plot lines and what they kind of had to do as they went along. But some of it felt very easy, very convenient. So it's at one point they decide to rob some dudes, right? Because they need money and they think they've got a plan, they can maybe get it done. And it doesn't go off with, the first time doesn't go off without a hitch, but it was still really easy. I was sitting here going, okay, but how do they have the strength for this if they were literally never encouraged to exercise or do any of this kind of stuff? How do they have the upper body strength to hang this guy up by his ankles? How is this even possible? Even with multiple of them, they're 15 and 16 years old. And so I didn't necessarily truly believe it. And things like that kept cropping up and pulling me out of the story. The world building is really interesting. It's very much got a Western feel. But it was paranormal Western. It was very interesting. But I also don't feel like I got quite enough information to really fill out my understanding. So I have some questions. So overall, it was just very, very mixed feelings on everything. And like I said, my thoughts aren't fully coherent. I do plan on doing a full-length review for this. If you are interested in my full-length thoughts that are more coherent, you should look for that. It'll be coming out very soon. But for now, I'm going to move on to the next book, and that is Breakout by Ann Aguirre. This is the third and final book in the Dread Chronicles trilogy. And this trilogy is an adult science fiction trilogy that follows our main characters of Desdemona and JL. And they are on a prison spaceship named Perdition. Dread is actually the leader of one of the factions of prisoners, and they have been through a lot up to this point, and now they are looking for the ultimate prize, and that is to break out. They are going to try to figure out a way to get off of this inescapable ship. And I'm excited. Like, I really want to see how this ends. I haven't necessarily felt the same love for this series as I did for Sarantha Jax, which is the series that this is spun off from. But I do really enjoy it, and I really want to see how they do it. Like, I fully expect that they are going to break out. I just don't know how, and I'm so curious, right? I just want to see it happen. And so I will be, I'm sure, flying through it, and I will have another update for you soon. So until then, guys, bye. Hey guys, it is Saturday night, so it is time for my end of the week update, and I have finished Breakout by Ann Aguirre, the third book in the Dread Chronicles series. So I actually finished this yesterday evening, but just between then and now, I really didn't have time to film, so you're getting the update now. But I really, really liked this. I thought it was a really nice conclusion. Ann Aguirre really took her time with the ending so that we know kind of where everything is headed. So it feels like a lovely conclusion to the trilogy. It is much more focused on this kind of overarching, the trilogy itself is much more focused on an overarching plot line than the Sarantha Jax series was. I did have some complaints that the beginning was definitely dragged a little bit and the ending dragged a little bit. Even as she did take her time and really set up what they're doing going forward, it did drag. I mean, I wouldn't give it up, but it was still kind of like, when is the end? But I really enjoyed the characters that we met along the way. Like when I talked about this book last clip, I did say that like I knew that they were going to break out, right? Like I just knew, but I didn't know how. I didn't know the trials and tribulations that they would have along the way. I didn't know how they were going to deal with one of the other prisoners who's just kind of hell-bent on like killing everybody. I didn't know if all of them were going to make it. Like I had a feeling that our two main characters of JL and Dread would make it because this is leaning more into like romance territory, but I still wasn't even sure with that. But so watching it unfold was really beautiful. I really liked it. And I didn't see all of the twists coming. So I do think that this was an excellent way to end this trilogy, and I very much enjoyed my time with it. So then last night, I picked up Magic Shifts by Ilona Andrews. This is the 8th book in the Kate Daniels series, which is an adult urban fantasy series that follows our main character of Kate Daniels, and she is basically magical hazmat in an alternate version of Atlanta, Georgia, where magic kind of comes in waves, and when it does, like electricity and technology does not work. And it doesn't work until the magic leaves again, and then it does work. But in this particular book, one of the shapeshifters has gone missing, and for reasons, the local shapeshifter pack is not doing an investigation, really. And so Kate takes it on herself to figure out what is going on. And of course, it's not simple or easy. It immediately gets complicated. And everything kind of goes from there. And I'm 75 pages from the end. So that should give you some idea of how much I like this. These books are just really easy, really fun reads. They suck you in. They're just generally good. Like the plot is always solid to great, And I love the characters wholeheartedly, how they interact. I love that Kate is really smart. She does understand like her limitations, like where she, like her strengths and her weaknesses and all that stuff, and she plays to her strengths, and it's really interesting to watch. And so I really, really love these books. And so, like I said, I'm 75 pages from the end. The only reason I didn't finish it already is because I had a Skype call with my in-laws that I needed to be there for. I was the good daughter-in-law, and so I did not finish this, but I do expect that I will finish this as I am waiting for this reading vlog to upload. Yeah, so I am very much looking forward to this ending. But that is all I have for you guys. So until next time, have happy reading, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.